the anthem,
Oh, the
because
anthem.
then we're pointing
Okay,
towards
it's
the
fine. You know
camera.
where it is then.
But we could certainly
For the
move
Pledge
it.
of Allegiance.
We could certainly move it. You see that?
As long
No,
as it's in view.
can't see it.
You can't even see it?
No,
Which way do I gotta go?
back next to, there you go. A little bit more this way. There, a little bit more.
I'll do a Trump.
There you go, that's good, that's good.
All
You saw
right.
that, right?
Hey, you come join us. We can squish in some.
He's in off.
I'm trying to stay off camera. I'm nervous about losing my government
Oh,
retirement pension.
yeah. Yeah, my husband feels that way too.
I heard about one disabled veteran who they didn't send him the disability check one month, and he called and said, "What's wrong? What happened to my check? We don't even have you on record here."
Wow.
Took him off the record. So.
Deleted.
All right. What happened here? Test. Test. Oh. On button.
1%. 1% smarter than the thing we're working with.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
God, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
How do you turn
Bluetooth
it?
connecting.
All right, here we are. Thank you. Live in the northern neck of Virginia, the vigil for January 6th. It is 1,151 days since January 6th. This is March 1st, 2024. And we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and we're going to start, as always, with a prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. So we have a prayer getting ready to come on board.
Let's take a moment to pray. Lord God, our Father, we give you thanks and honor and praise for this country and for the bravery and courage of the people who are in prison now, Lord. We just ask your blessing on them, all the J6ers, Lord. We ask your blessing too, Lord, on the staff of those prisons and on the people who work there, Lord. We ask you to guide them in their duties and in their function, Lord, honorably and justly, Lord. We ask you for justice, your perfect justice in the cases of all these people who are being tried, Lord. And we just ask you to, God bless all of them and guide us in our ways, Father. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
Sound effects.
Got it. Right, hanging out over there at the light.
Yeah, I saw that.
Got one?
Bug flying around in here. All right. So a lot of big news. Where to start? I think probably one of the biggest is that the January 6th individual by the name of Larry Brock had the U.S. Court of Appeals rule that his sentencing was improperly enhanced, and this has to do with the 1512C guidelines, or 1512C charges that over 300 J6ers received. President Trump also received that 1512C, which is the obstruction of official proceeding. Now, there have been several judges, at least one judge, who have rejected that particular charge in sentencing on a couple of individuals, but this is the first time that it's actually gone to appeal and has been overturned. Big news, because that same 1512C is going to the Supreme Court on Tuesday, April 16th. There was a writ of certiorari, which is basically, that means that they will look at a lower court's decision. And so when the Supreme Court picks something like that up, it's a big decision for them to even pick it up. But I have found on the SCOTUS website, like anyone can do, you can go to the Supreme Court website, you can go to the DC District Court website, you can find the court schedules, and I just, the other day, finally dug into it far enough that I found this. It is Fisher versus United States. It is scheduled for Tuesday, April 16th. Court starts at 10 a.m. I'm going to try to be there for that. That is huge. If they overturn that, again, this is the Enron era legislation that was meant to prohibit the executives of the accounting firms from destroying information. So basically, the long story with this is it was already illegal for an executive of a firm to tell employees to get rid of documents, to shred things, to get rid of them. But it wasn't illegal for that individual himself or that representative of the company to do so themselves. So this made it illegal because what they were doing was they were literally having these shredding parties, getting rid of evidence as Congress was investigating what was going on. So they said, we got to put a stop to that. Let's make it a 20-year crime if you obstruct an official proceeding. And the language, I can get into that a little bit later. So the idea that you can take a January 6th mob, whatever you want to call it, and try to use that language because it's got a 20-year sentence along with it to enhance these guys' sentences, to put it on. That's the most serious charge many of them had, other than trespassing, right? So it's huge. It's over 300 individuals of the 1,300 people who have been arrested and charged for January 6th. This could be a huge thing, and already Mr. Brock's case means that they're going to have to go back and look at sentences that have already been handed down for other J6ers. So really big news, very exciting, and it tells me that maybe the house of cards is starting to crumble. So big one. And I'll go into that a little bit more detail.
I wanted to bring up what
Please, go ahead. Yeah, take a mic though.
So what I'm looking at is you could buy this at Patriot Mail Project. It's the American Gulag Chronicles, and it has letters from the prisoners, and it's the actual letters that they wrote to people, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to read, but the person who put this together, they typed out what the letters say, plus they have the original letters for you just to look at, so it's pretty neat. Patriot Mail Project.
And so what Cheryl's holding up, The Art of Confinement, is edition number 2. That's just came out. I pre-ordered it. It just showed up in my mail. But again, Tim Rivers is behind this. And you said it's available on the
Patriot Mail Project.
Yeah.
It's about $50, but it goes. All the money goes to the J6ers families or something.
But yeah, it's got a lot of personal stories, artwork, letters, just very interesting stuff from these individuals. It's the same kind of thing in one handy little coffee table thing, something you can hand around that gives you a little bit of personal, insight into these people, these Americans who are just like every other one of us out there. They have their own life stories to tell, and they've been wrapped up into this whole situation. So again, the first one was Letters from Prison, and the second one, I love the title, The Art of Confinement. These people have had to figure out how to live in this horror of being confined, having their rights stripped away from them. I just opened the seal tonight. I didn't even get a chance to read this yet. But I can't wait. So, hey, wait, I just opened to Barry Ramey, one of our favorites. I got to show that. And, yeah, pretty cool. All right, let me speak on that a little bit. I put out a notice to all of our folks that follow the Patriots. Barry's in a federal facility in Florida. They've kind of run out of cash, and he's put out a APB for help. And so you can go to Barry's Give, Send, Go site, and I didn't bring that with me. I don't know if you have Barry's Give, Send, Go, Cheryl, there handy, but that's one I'd like to broadcast out because he could use a little help to get through the next few months, and it would be greatly appreciated. Let me finish up on this writ of certiorari again. I'm just happy that I can pronounce the word. I've practiced it over and over. But so, a writ of certiorari orders a lower court to forward all documents in a case it has heard to the higher court for review. While this is most commonly used by the U.S. Supreme Court, other courts, such as the U.S. Court of Appeals, state Supreme Courts, and state courts of appeal, may issue such a writ. The U.S. Supreme Court is very selective about which cases it will hear, accepting cases only when at least 4 of the judges believe the case raises a significant federal question that is in the public's interest. And this was probably, I just got that from Wikipedia or something, I'm not sure. It dates back to Roman law, and it goes into the whole background of all of it. But the court filings are, 20-some pages long, but again, as I say, this is going to be on the docket. So the session is, it's called the Supreme Court session is the October term of 2023. So we're in the October 2023 term, and they break things up into week by week, and they kind of pick up these different things. But again, Tuesday, April 16th, Fisher versus the United States. I want to give a little bit of background on Fisher. All right, so here's the question presented. This is the official court filing for the writ. Congress added section 1512C to the witness, victim, or informant tampering statute to target corporate fraud and abuse involving evidence spoliation that obstructs congressional inquiries and investigations. It thus punishes anyone who alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals evidence. And its residual clause ensures that evidence destroyers cannot evade that prohibition by otherwise obstructing, influencing, or impeding official proceedings. Boy, they really chopped up the words in this thing to get it to apply to the January 6ers, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
But the D.C. Circuit construed the residual clause as divorced both from the Congress's purpose and from paragraph C1, thus transforming this residual clause into a novel, omnibus obstruction offense with breathtaking reach. Breathtaking is the word you see over and over in this. Does this unprecedented reading of subsection C2 contravene the statute's text, history, and legislative purpose, as well as interpretive canons and this court's precedent on the Constitution of federal criminal statutes? I think the answer is going to be a resounding yes. So the petitioner is Joseph Fisher. He is the defendant in the district court and was the appellee in the D.C. District Court, D.C. Circuit Court. The respondent is the United States. Very interesting stuff. Go dig it up, look it up on the Supreme Court website, and it's an amazing time to be alive in history to watch this play out.
Yeah.
Not only the fact that these men and women that have had their lives ripped away from them and their families, and oh my God, I saw another one today of someone who was arrested and his wife the next day had a miscarriage because of the trauma of the whole thing. That was just a fresh one I just saw today, and it's just, again.
I saw that yesterday.
Go ahead.
And apparently what happened was, in the wee hours of the morning, when the weather outside was 12 degrees Fahrenheit, the FBI and the full SWAT teams, local law enforcement, 40 to 50 law enforcement individuals converge on this house, lights going. The pregnant wife and a 4-year-old son are told that they need to go stand outside now. No, you can't get your coat or anything like that. Go stand outside while we take care of business. We're going to grab your husband. So she's out there, her 4-year-old son is crying, and the trauma is horrendous, and you can imagine. And sure enough, very next morning, kid was dead. The unborn fetus was dead. And so she had a miscarriage. And of course, there's no apologies. No apologies whatsoever. I don't know how people can actually work for organizations that do this and sleep.
Maurice, that's a great point. I hope that you people that are out there just following orders because it's what your local, or in a lot of cases, I think the FBI is sending these people out from DC to these jurisdictions, to these localities, and they're organizing these task forces, and people are being told to go along with it, and maybe told about how terrible these January 6 people are and what a threat they are to democracy. But please stop and think about what you're doing. You all know Reed Christensen's case was the same one. They all said that we were just told to do this. We know this is over the top, but we're just following orders. Please stop following those orders. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know how people should be treated. You know how you would like to be treated. Think about that.
It's interesting to recall that in the Nuremberg trials, all the people that made claim that they were just following orders, they ended up hanging.
Serious stuff. Well, let me switch gears a little bit. So I did find out that a local individual by the name of James Russell Davis, who is from King George, Virginia, actually was the head of their Tea Party up there, was involved in January 6th, and he was picked up about 2 months ago. He was sentenced on October 31st to 2 months of incarceration and 24 months of supervised release. He is now in a federal facility in Loretto, Pennsylvania. And I just thought it was very interesting to focus on him and highlight his exact story a little bit. And I want to try to do more of this, especially with the people that are being arrested on a daily basis almost, because it's getting pathetic. The things that they were allegedly to have done do not measure up to what we would expect for that kind of response. So James Russell Davis, again, I always go to NPR, National Public Radio, J6, NPR J6. Just put that in your web browser, and this will come up. So James Davis can be seen in police body camera footage among the mob, love the language, at U.S. Capitol, wearing a U.S. Marine Corps baseball cap and wielding a large stick, court documents indicate. In the footage, he can allegedly be seen charging up the West Front Terrace stairs, pushing and screaming at an officer, and charging towards officers with the stick positioned as if he were planning to strike them with it. The officers eventually were able to stop his advances. In the body cam video, he can reportedly be heard saying, "I fought for this country. I fought for this country. What the F are you doing? I fought for this country. I fought for this country. I'm a military effing police. I am a military police." According to court records, Davis served in the Marines from 94 to 96 and was a military police officer 1 year. Davis was reportedly interviewed in a video titled Williston Trending Topics News Radio Live. In that Facebook video, he identified himself as a Virginia Proud Boy, court documents indicate. His charges: civil disorder, entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in restricted building or grounds, engaging in physical violence in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, and an act of physical violence in the Capitol ground or buildings. As I said, he pled guilty to one charge, civil disorder. The other charges were dismissed. He was sentenced on 10/31 to 2 months of incarceration, 24 months of supervised release, $100 special assessment, and a restitution in the amount of $2,000. You can go onto this website and you can not only just pull up this little summary that's a bit slanted, but you can also find the charging documents right there, and you can look at those, and it's quite interesting. But And they got lots of beautiful photos and all their evidence. And here is a photo with him in a red box carrying a stick of some sort. So I wanted to bring that up because I'm going to be going to the King George Tea Party in a couple of weeks to talk about January 6th. I'm going to highlight James. Obviously, he's near and dear to their hearts. And I'm going to bring this charging complaint because I want people to understand what they're doing here and how they're putting these cases together and the story that they're trying to tell. And back to what we said before about these FBI agents that are overdoing it, I really think these special agents that are bringing these complaints need to do a little bit of soul searching themselves and say, am I just doing my job, or do I really believe that this is what needs to happen? Because it's shameful.
You know, last week, maybe it was the week before, but Mr. Janatakis was telling us that if you have a law or a rule, it needs to apply equally to everybody, just as it says in the Constitution. If you apply it or don't apply it, however you go, it has to apply equally to everybody. And this is a clear violation of that particular constitutional amendment. And it's blatant. It is so in-your-face blatant. It's not an accident. Anybody that thinks it is kind of crazy, and I know that there's a lot of people that think it's just fine. But this is crazy. This is not the way this country is supposed to work. I'm done.
I also want to, I agree, Maurice. I want to highlight also from that NPR website, I think I told folks last time that I met a gentleman and his wife, Ben and Tina Pollock from Lakeland, Florida. And here is their daughter, Olivia, and their son, Jonathan, who both were with mom and dad and a whole busload of other people from Lakeland, Florida, who came up patriotically to be there and to pray and to stand, you know, in support of their president and to redress their grievances to the government. And you know, in the chaos that ensued with all of the blatant outward aggression from Capitol Police and others, especially when they started firing tear gas and everything else in. But so whole swaths of people, families and friends and so on, have been caught up in this. But I got to tell you, Ben and Tina were probably the most down-to-earth, patriotic, Christian, just wonderful people you could meet. And I'm sure their children are just like it, but they are caught up in this whole system as well. All right, next. It seems like I must be a promoter of NPR, but again, I go there all the time. There in the Patriot Mail Project, what else would you recommend, Cheryl, for getting your information on January 6th? There's any other sites?
Yeah, the NPR and
American Gulag, maybe that's another one.
I usually go to those
Yeah.
two sites.
But what I like about it, in the first couple pages, you can see where we're at. They update this every Friday. So we are now at, as of last Friday, so unfortunately, our vigils are about a week behind, but there were 1,305 arrested as of last Friday. And I think that's roughly almost one a day. But I wanted to just read to you, and this is a shout out to those individuals and to their families who are now newly entered into the class of January 6th. So, and you can just scroll down through it when you get on the website, just one after the next. Christian Alfonso, New Jersey. He was arrested on February 22nd, 2024 in Camden, New Jersey. Knowingly entered or remaining in a restricted building or grounds without lawful authority. disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, picketing, and demonstrating in a Capitol building. There's nothing in there about an altercation with police or breaking anything or doing anything, so sounds like he was trespassing. Andrew Roman Carvajal, Austin, Texas, arrested February 20th in Riverside, California. Again, similar charges, knowingly entering or remaining, disorderly and disruptive conduct, parading, demonstrating, or picketing. Robert Copatelli, Toms River, New Jersey, was identified in video footage on the U.S. Capitol grounds on January 6th wearing a red hoodie, black hat, surgical mask, and a jacket with the letters Copatelli written on the breast. Made him a little easy to find. According to court documents, closed circuit television showed Copatelli entered the Capitol building at 2:24 p.m. that day through and opened the Senate wing door. 12 minutes later, after making his way through the crypt and adjacent hallways, he exited the building through a broken window. He was arrested February 20th of 2024 in Washington, D.C. That's interesting. Knowingly entering or remaining restricted grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct, parading, demonstrating, or picketing. You getting the picture here, guys? They're picking these people up for going inside the Capitol building. Go ahead, I got more.
It kind of looks like intimidation tactics. They're not doing it just because of those particular individuals. They're making quite the show of it so that the people of the United States understand that there is a big hand out there that will reach out and grab them if they step outside the lines.
You nailed it. Go.
I just.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $61.77. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hey, Chris.
Howdy, Patriots. How you doing? What's going on, Patriots? How are you?
We're good. How are you guys tonight?
All right, I'm all right. It's the Brew and Q show. Paige is a little
Tag team in this thing tonight.
Those of you who have listened into, first thing I want to apologize because there's a lot of stuff to go over and we just don't have enough time. But those of you who have listened to the Northern Neck or the DC vigil recently, and those of you who have been listening into this vigil over the past 6 months knows that I have had a heck of a time getting certified mail, heck of a time with lawyers not doing their job, a heck of a time, and then I created a 27-page letter, and I wanted to send it to McFadden, and I'm basically saying, this is the deal. It's been sent to McFadden. It was then sent, or a version of it was sent by Cheryl Johnson, certified mail, per my request, onto this recorded line and over this vigil. And so, I'm guessing he has it. He has to have it. For 6 months, I've tried to get or more than 6 months, I've tried to get a certified letter sent from this jail. Now, we're in Washington, D.C., the capital of America, the United States of America,
The bastion of law and order.
yes. No one knows the process of sending a certified letter, or at least that's what they're telling us. So we had a town hall yesterday. Well, I'm jumping the gun. 3 or 4 days ago, after 6 months from basking, I showed my grievances to, this woman who now says, oh, here's your certified letter stamp. Here's your green piece of paper, and here's your this, and here's your stamp, and here's your, or not your stamp, but your, your sticker that you stick on this, and blah, 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 and here it is. Okay, great. Yeah, what? Well, Ms. McCain, our case manager, Bridget McCain, did not sign the piece of paper that says case manager's signature. She goes, I have nothing to do with that, Claglin. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, that means you're either incompetent and undertrained, or you're, like I assume, it's obstructing the legal process.
Obstructing justice. So,
Oh, that's a 1512.
it got revoked one day, and then she finally signed it, and then this other woman, I have her name written down here, but I'm not. I don't know her name right off the bat. It really doesn't matter. I have this other woman say, okay, well, I'll be back on Monday. Well, that didn't happen. Then on Tuesday, it sat there on the CO's desk, on camera, sat there. Wednesday, it sat there. Wednesday night, it got picked up. Now, it got picked up, and everyone who sends a certified letter knows that you're supposed to bring it to the post office, and then it's supposed to get stamped, and you get a receipt saying, this is my receipt, the post office has it.
You have to have a tracking number.
You have a tracking number. Well, it got picked up from our mail department on Wednesday night, meaning it should be out of this jail, this facility, by Thursday.
Yep.
Especially with it being legal mail. It has to be out the very next day. There's no reason. There's only, 500-600 people in this jail? Not like there's 5,000, right? So it's out the next day.
And it's kind of interesting because it wasn't in the mailbox. It was on the CO's
It was
desk.
on the CO's desk. So it was picked up by the mail officer.
Mm-hmm.
Put into a special envelope, I was told, and blah, 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 blah. Problem is, I didn't get a receipt. However, I did write down the tracking number. Well, yesterday was our town hall. Our town hall, I specifically said to the case manager, Bridget McCain, in front of 30 witnesses, by the way, that certified letter that I finally got that went out, is picked up last night, and should be out of the building already. It is requesting to subpoena both you and the
grievance officer.
No, the warden.
Oh, the warden.
Warden Vic. Mm-hmm. Both you and Warden Vic, I want you in front of my judge in 12 days. I'm letting you know. I'm putting you on notice in front of 30 individuals. Yeah. Well, her face said it all. Well, what do you know? I checked the tracking number, or have someone check the tracking number. They repeated back the number to me 3 times, blah, blah, blah. I know it's the right number. Guess what isn't in the system?
The certified?
My certified mail.
Can we say ex parte communication, broken chain of custody?
Broken chain of custody,
that stuff.
Mail fraud, tampering with mail, tampering with criminal proceeding, so on and so forth. At the town hall, the case manager, Bridget McCain, asked the question, is it your right to send a certified letter? Well, it absolutely is.
Oh my gosh.
I get something back, a grievance back today, and it says, please work with your lawyer, and in parentheses, lawyers, to get the things sent to the judge that need to be sent to the judge. No, that is no one's responsibility. That's the task with the lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay? If I want to send something to the judge, it's my absolute right to send something to the judge. And with sending something pro se, I must have chain of custody, which the only way to do that is certified mail.
Yep. So there was an actual obstruction of judicial process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally sending this thing from, I am a warden of the government, right? So I'm asking the government, I'm in the government's hold, and I'm asking another government agency, the USPS, to take this government or federally, federal mail, and to deliver it to a government agency, the courthouse. That can't happen in DC. Not for January 6th.
Yeah, so the whole point is the jail has us here based on an agreement
With the U.S. Marshals.
with the U.S. Marshals. Okay, that agreement says that they must satisfy the obligations of care, custody, and control. And I believe that with all of our efforts and documentation, we found that the grievance process is illusory. We have found that they have no they have no abilities to provide chain of custody for certified mail, so that puts a real hampering on defense. So we have been, the judicial process has been obstructed, by negligence. And even after all these months of asking for these things, now it is beyond just carelessness. This is intentional and knowing. They know what they're doing. They're playing stupid, but they know what they're doing, and we've got the documentation to show it. It's been stuff that's happened for months. We've had grievances disappear, never to be answered. I sent in an emergency grievance that never got answered. Okay, these guys they are not capable of care, custody, and control. Okay, they are not equipped mentally or spiritually, to be honest with you.
And it all comes down, it comes from the top.
Absolutely.
It comes from lack of training. It comes from, and just not caring. Lack of care. I mean, listen, we are prisoners, okay? I say prisoners of war, but we are prisoners. And the fact is that these people have, if they don't feed us, we will die, right? We're locked in this room, and we will die eventually if they do not give us food. Yeah. If they do not release us, if we don't break out or whatever, if they don't feed us, we will die. Yep. If they don't give us medical, we could die.
I won't go see the medical.
I mean, look at my knee. It's been 6 months. I'm being denied medical. This is all because of politics. Yep. And now we did see something change in the past, 3 weeks?
Yeah. I mean, here's what it is. It's they put the pressure on, and then they relieve it when people start getting wise to make everybody relax and feel like the system is working. The system does not work. It's broken. It's intentional. They've been doing it for decades. And honestly, some of these people in the admin especially, there's a short, fat guy in a white shirt that has a real bad attitude and threatened to push me down the stairs one time. And that guy, I'm looking forward to turning around and slapping with a civil suit. Okay, some of these people definitely, should be nowhere near, in the care, being responsible for the care of other people. Okay, and because they don't have that ability, that enters into a situation of torture. This qualifies as torture, both psychological and physical, because we don't have the right vitamins, we don't have the right food. It's all garbage.
And you all know what I went through at Northern Neck. I mean, this is just, I've been going through the same things for 3 years. 3 years now. 3 years. No legal advice. Yep. No, even when legal things are brought up, it's just railroaded. And that's where the 27 pages comes in. It places blame where blame is to be placed. And, when you even have now a court-appointed Democrat, lawyer, he just says, just just go plead guilty and be over with it. Be done with it.
Wow, what bad advice.
You're going to be pardoned in a year. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. And I'm not ready to give up.
Well, yeah, you know, the thing is that people forget that this is about one thing and one thing only, an age-old question. Who do you serve? Are you going to serve government who imposes itself as God, or are you going to serve, you know, your creator? And this is what this comes down to. That's why they are happy with suckering people with a plea deal. They're going to turn around. If they're left in power, they're going to turn around and then, because we're in double jeopardy, because they put a criminal case on us first and robbed us of due process, they're going to turn around in a civil suit and slap us again, because the American people, of course, so far have been kind of letting this slide for the last 3 years. So, of course, if they're emboldened and embraced, they'll come right back harder.
That's it. But in other news, good news for us. The 1512 charge, you guys, I'm sure, are well aware of the January 6ers and the Court of Appeals has been deemed that the enhancements are illegal. So that's a good news for a lot of J6ers.
And on that, on that topic, Chris, April 16th is when the writ of certiorari goes before the Supreme Court, Fisher versus United States. So I think what you just mentioned is just the precursor to knocking this one out of the park, I hope.
Yep. And another thing is the 5,000 hours of
You have 1 minute remaining.
will be released or is released to the public on Rumble. And then it's going to be 1,000 hours a week after that. I was told maybe no faces blurred, and it's going to show the Fed's direction. You know, people are going to start saying, hey, that guy over there, he's an FBI agent. He's my neighbor. I know he works for the FBI. That's what's going to start happening. You know, people are gonna, you know, that's what we're gonna start seeing that.
There's some more stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on.
And guys, if you don't have anything to do on March 12th, come on down for my sentencing. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, we need to have witnesses at all of these court proceedings. You know, have reporting, just packing those rooms and stuff like that, because nobody's going to get this information unless you put it out there. Okay, these legacy media agents.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, so yeah, I'm so glad they mentioned both of those things. So Chris's sentencing hearing is on March 12th, 10 a.m., courtroom 2, Judge McFadden, the DC District Court. It's so easy to get in and out of there. I got to tell you guys, the parking is convenient. You can park on the street and do the 2-hour, credit card metered parking there. Or you can find a parking garage for $20 a day, which is not bad in downtown DC. Easy to get in, easy to get out. The security is minor. You have a metal detector, but it goes very quickly. I would recommend to everybody to go to the District Court, United States District Court website. The website is www.dcd.uscourts.gov, and you can click on the tab for the judges info tab, and that's where the court calendars come up. So as I've highlighted, Chris Quaglin is on there on the 12th. There's a Trump hearing, a status conference on the 12th in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m. So I think that might be very interesting to be there for that.
Prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press. Your current balance is $60.07. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Northern Net.
Nick. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, we're great. How are you?
This is great. This is Taylor again. It's always such a pleasure to call you guys and talk to you guys. I really appreciate you guys holding vigil every week for those up in Northern Neck and for January 6th defendants as well all across the country.
Yeah, absolutely great to hear from you, Taylor. We look forward to your calls.
Awesome. Hey, at the end tonight, if anybody there in the audience, or I don't know if you have a live stream going on, but if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. I do have something I wanted to share tonight about a Supreme Court case. Would you like to hear it?
Please, yes.
All right, so back in I think the incident happened in 1935, 1936, somewhere around there. The court case that I'm going to discuss today was decided in 1938. But what happened was there was a man named Tompkins who was in Pennsylvania, and he was walking along a railroad, and a train came by, and there was an unsecured load. I'm assuming there was like a 2x4 or something hanging off the train, and it hit him in the head, and it caused a whole bunch of, injury to this man. And in the state of Pennsylvania, if you were on railroad property, you were trespassing. And the train company, in this case it was Erie Railroad Company, had no duty to protect you as a pedestrian walking along the road, along the side of a train track, okay? And what happened was this guy Tompkins, he decided to go to New York, and he decided to file a lawsuit in the state of New York, which is where the railroad was based out of. Because in New York, if a pathway or a trail was established by the public, it was regularly used by the public, and the railroad didn't put up a sign that said no trespassing or something like that, then it was pretty much considered a public right-of-way. And in that case, the train company had a duty to secure their load and protect pedestrians from the train. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the accident happened in Pennsylvania. The guy was a citizen of Pennsylvania. He jurisdiction shopped and went to New York because there was a favorable common law that would favor him in this lawsuit. So if I get this wrong, I'm sorry. You legal eagles out there can go look it up. But essentially, he won his first case, or he lost his first case, won it on appeals, and then it went up to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court case is called Erie versus Tompkins. And what I'm going to read right now is kind of what I wrote down to kind of talk about what that Supreme Court case left us with as American people. And this first part I'm going to read here is actually straight out of Black's Law Dictionary. So this was a significant enough court case that it actually has its own definition, Erie versus Tompkins, in the Black's Law Dictionary. It says this: the landmark case holding that an action in federal court, except as to matters governed by the U.S. Constitution and acts of Congress, the law applied in any case is the law of the state in which the federal court is situated. This case overruled a previous decision called Swift v. Tyson, which held that there was a body of federal general common law to be applied in such cases. Prior to Erie v. Tompkins, so this is me writing, prior to Erie v. Tompkins, federal judges would sometimes cite, quote, common law or some other case. In some cases, they would make up a common law and apply it to their federal cases. This had the effect of applying non-applicable common law to jurisdictions that a different local common law applied, as well as claimants who jurisdiction shopped as well as venue shopped. The end result of Erie v. Tompkins was that the Supreme Court concluded that the federal government had no federal common law which it had authority to impose or cite in its jurisprudence. Rather, they may simply apply the common law, or in our day and age now, it's all statutory law as it exists in the locations where the suit arose. Thus the statement, as applies federally, there is no common law. The only thing remaining in federal cases are international, admiralty, maritime, and commercial agreements. This means that there must be a qualifying agreement or contract to create a compelled performance scenario. Remember, the government's only tool is force or violence to achieve its means. In order to justify its violence, it requires, according to their own law, a written or oral agreement amounting to a contract, which they can then compel performance of the agreement. This is why we must, quote, apply, which Black's defines as to make a formal request or petition for granting some favor or benefit or some rule or order which is within his or her power or discretion. To apply for a permit, aka permission to build on your land, which implies you need permission. To apply for a business implies you need permission to engage in free intercourse. To apply for a license which is to do something normally not lawful, like to travel or drive or get married. To apply for a social security number and all the benefits and duties that implies. The Amish, they don't do those things. Why do you think you have to? The Amish don't have a contract. You do. By applying, you, by your deed, have submitted and surrendered and volunteered. You have consented. Consent is a tangible thing. There is always a written contract or a recorded oral record of your consent. Learn to manage your consent. We don't get into the tangled mess we are in today by accident. The government, quote, compels performance by force. They are executing an agreement you made, whether you know you made it or not. So one of the things, with this Supreme Court case, all case law and all precedent prior to 1938 that cited any type of common law was essentially thrown out the window. So there's a lot of, constitutional scholars and people who say that the country should be a certain way based on all this case law precedent. If it was prior to 1938, all of that precedent was literally thrown out the window. That's why this case was such a landmark case, because it established in the federal courtroom there's one law and one law only. The jurisdiction wherein the court lies or a contract. End of story. And, that's how everything works in today's day and age. And our entire system changed. Now, if you want to get married, you have to apply for a marriage license. You have to apply for a building permit. You have to apply for a business license. You have to get permission to do these things because there is no common law regulating those activities. Therefore, you have to create some type of agreement or contractual obligation by which we do those things. It's really, really stunning. So for those that are out there listening, some of you may pick up on what's being put down here, but Erie versus Tompkins is the Supreme Court case that states there is no federal common law. Everything is a contract. Hence the maxim, the contract is the law.
That's fascinating. How do you think that applies to what you're going through and the venue and the fact that they're housing you guys in D.C., the trials are in D.C. What do you think? Is there any connection there?
Yeah, absolutely. This is all contractually based. And they get you to volunteer into these agreements. For example, when you go to prison, you have a, quote, surrender date. Well, if you don't surrender, then they'll compel performance for you to surrender at the barrel of a gun. How do they compel performance for you to surrender at the barrel of a gun? Because you appeared in general appearance inside their courtroom. Go look up in a law dictionary, Black's Law, look up the word appearance, and it says the voluntary, unrestricted submission to the court's jurisdiction. So therefore, you agreed. You made an oral contract the moment you said your name in court. And it's right there in the dictionary under the word appearance. So that's why they can compel you to surrender. Surrender is a voluntary act. It's the same thing with the taxes. You fill out a 1040, you fill out a W-4, and that is a agreement to pay taxes. But the tax system is voluntary, Mr. Jonatakis. Yes, it's voluntary until you contracted through a W-4 to pay the taxes, at which point it becomes compulsory. Do you see what I'm saying? So all along the way, everything we do, if you want to do business, you apply for a business license, and thereby you're bound by the terms of the Secretary of State and whatever dictates or things that they decide to enforce because you have applied for them to do business. Intercourse, commerce, business between two living men should not be dictated by the state according to constitutional basis, right? However, the moment you introduce a contract, you've created commerce. You've created something to be adjudicated under the contract. And this ends with the birth certificate. When you're born, do the Amish fill out birth certificates and tell the state that someone was delivered, an international admiralty maritime product was delivered to the state and they create a registration number for the state to track that kid? No. The Amish just have a baby, they go to church, they name it, and everybody goes, okay, this is John. And John is a free citizen, is a free American living on the land. Does that make sense? Up until the point he enters into a contract. But we, normal people, a lot of times we have a kid, what's the first thing we do? We sign a birth certificate application, an application, we apply for a registration number from the state, and we do that. Why? Oh, because that's just what you're supposed to do. No, you're exchanging benefits, public education. You're exchanging protection from the police officers and all that. And what's the consideration? You're the consideration for those benefits. This happens all over the place. We've created a tangled web and a tangled mess of contracts and obligations, and that we can be compelled to perform, right, by our own consent. The fact that the government is consent of the governed, this is very real and tangible. There's actually a written piece of paper that says you will be governed. Somewhere in a filing cabinet. It's your birth certificate. It's your Social Security registration application. It's your marriage license application. It's your driver's license application. And that application is where you volunteered to then follow all the rules downstream. It's stunning when you actually see it. You have the right to travel on the public right-of-way, but when you apply for a driver's license, you volunteer to be a driver. A driver is a commercial activity. Rich people used to hire drivers. You have a license. A license is permission to do something which is not normally lawful. Why is that? It's because the United States American government is a corporation, and it does not have the living right to travel, so therefore it has to break the law, and since you are now volunteering to be under it, you have to get a license to travel on the public right-of-way, and then when a police officer pulls you over, he asks for your driver's license. If you tell the police officer, but officer, I'm just operating my automobile as I travel down the road, he'd look at you all confused, but where's your license and registration? Oh, I'm sorry, officer, what are you talking about? Do I not have a right to travel? I'm not suggesting anybody do this, okay? But our words line up with these agreements and these contracts and consent that we've made. The Amish, they travel down the road, they just do it with a horse and buggy, right? And no problem there, it's the public right-of-way, and when the cop goes, well, the road's paved and you have to hire me. No, you don't. That was a gift. Thank you for the gift. It's not a benefit, it's a gift. You paved the road for us. Thank you for paving the public right-of-way, right? I mean, the Amish, I love the Amish. I haven't met a whole lot of them, but, you know, they really are the most free and indigenous people left on this continent in the fact that they don't contract away their rights as a matter of custom and culture and just a matter of tradition. And if we as Americans could study what the Amish have done to preserve their rights, the religion element of them helps them maintain that because they have certain beliefs that prevent them from entering into contract with, you know, they call us the English, right? But at the end of the day, what they're doing in a legal perspective is they are not contracting. They'll go so far as to say, hey, look, we don't even want electricity because then we have to use money to pay the bill, right? Cash and things like that. Where the Amish always get in trouble is where they try to go enter into commerce and they try to enter into contracts and they try to do business with entities that are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States through contract. As far as the federal government is concerned, there is no common law. There is no birthright. There is a contract. It's Erie versus Tompkins. It's in the dictionary. It's a Supreme Court case. People can go look it up. It's stunning in the ramifications that it has, and it's stunning in how it has affected our everyday life and how we entangle ourselves by consent, voluntarily, all voluntary. It's all through contract. And in the judicial system, this is one of the things that I have expressed with my judge. Judge, I'm aware of compelled performance, but I'm not aware of any international, admiralty, maritime, or commercial agreement bearing my signature that would compel me to, for example, follow the rules of criminal procedure. When the objected, the judge overruled because accurately as he overruled in their objection, there is no agreement between me and anyone else that I had to follow the rules of criminal procedure.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So all of this becomes very layered. There's lots of levels to all of this, but at the end of the day, my message to the American people is there is no common law. Everything that happens to us is by some form of consent, and our consent is tangible where we ask them to show us when and where it is that we consented. And once we learn those whens and wheres, we can start to take back control of our lives and our rights. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. For those of you that want to help support my family left behind, there's always givesendgo.com/John Attackis Family Help.
Thanks for that context. That's amazing, Taylor. Thank you.
Blessings.
No problem. We'll talk to you guys later. Look up Erie versus Tompkins. Tompkins.
We'll do it. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. You too. Bye.
Thank you for using.
That is so interesting.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's always got something
He talks as much
interesting.
as Maurice.
It's
So do the
fascinating.
Amish not have social security numbers and stuff? They just don't get into that at all, huh?
No.
Wow.
They
I hadn't really thought about it.
Well, and that was part of what my question was gonna be.
I had a
Is that
question too, but I
it's
didn't
so-
have time.
It's subtly insidious.
It's
It's the average person, I guarantee you, wouldn't even think about this stuff, much less explore it and understand it. They go about their day, just as he points out, signing away their rights.
Yeah, we give
Literally, all their lives. We've spent our entire lives doing this. And
Well, we thought we had to.
Well, that's right. You think that this is
we
just
were
what you
lied
do.
to, we were
Yeah.
deceived. My God, the devil's been around for a long time.
Let me get a few more of these court dates in here for folks. So, looks like March 20th, there's a Tate, which I assume to be Curtis Tate. On March 20th, that's a status conference. There's a Brown status conference on the 20th. Jeffrey Sable, I'm pretty sure that's a very different last name, S-A-B-O-L. That is on March 21st, sentencing. There's a Jackson, which I assume to be Adam Jackson, that's Judge Contreras, that's on March 21st, sentencing. Adam is the brother of Brian Jackson, who is the spouse of Tammy, who is there every night in the DC Gulag vigil on Freedom Corner. Andrew Taki is on March 26th, sentencing date. And I guess that's as far out as I went through March. So again, encourage people, get down there, go in, be a part of it, sit there quietly, watch, listen, see what happens. You know, the sentencings are interesting. They're usually an hour or two long. The ones that I've sat through, they spend the first part of the time just kind of recapping certain things, and then the judge talks about the sentencing guidelines and the enhancements, and it gets into this math problem of, you know, this enhancement is worth 6 points, or this one's worth 5 points, and so on and so on. And when you add it all up into the day, they have the guidelines plus the enhancements, so that brings us to a sentencing guidelines of 46 to 72 months, or whatever the case may be. And it's this whole dog and pony show to get to the point where they finally then hand down the sentence, which I feel like often they've already knew what they were going to do. But you need to see it, you need to be part of it, and you need to listen to some of the actual trials if you get a chance. There again, it's just a back and forth. You see defense attorneys, you wonder why they're not standing up and being more aggressive for their clients. And I think it's, again, what the story that emerges is that that's their job as a defense attorney in those courtrooms every single day, not just this year, not just next year, but the next however many years. And they're just doing their job, not necessarily taking care of the best interests of their client. Yeah, it's fascinating. I highly recommend
They're
anybody
just wanting
can.
to do their job and go to lunch. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? Oh,
On that, and one of the judges, lunch seemed to be the most important thing on her whole topic of the schedule of everything. Lunch was the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Yours truly, John.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0.
Is it John Brew?
Your current balance is $58.36. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello from Northern Neck.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, from DC jail.
who we got?
You got Johnny Pollock and Super John Todd.
Oh, that's awesome.
We introduced each other, so if you get mixed up on who's who, I introduced the other guy, and the other guy introduced me. Yeah.
All right, that's great. How you guys doing tonight?
Beyond the.
Oh, doing good. Yep. A little sore, but a little wore out. Been doing some heavy workouts, trying to stay in shape, stay ready, stay vigilant, and so a little bit tired. Hitting the gym direction. Yeah. Got the prison jail in here.
Yeah, but you guys, I mean, you gotta be pretty innovative to work out, don't you? There's not much to work with, right?
Oh, it's not to work with. Shoot, hey, what we got here is just about some of the top of the line quality equipment. All right, we got some bags of water for weight. We got some stairs for pull-ups and running up and down. We got some hard bodies for push-ups. Yeah, and sit-ups. We've had guys create backpacks with weights in, like water bottles for weight. We've had, I mean, there's some guys in here that made some pretty good equipment, actually. We got innovators. We're going to start the on-the-run workout. Yeah.
That's great. Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So, go ahead.
Jim's direction.
It's going to be one of those things like the beach body, except this one's going to be on the run. Yeah. If you're on the run, you can just work out with what you did at. Great.
Yeah. So what's on your guys' mind here? What's happening? You know, what's up with your cases and all that? Anything to talk about there to let people know?
I've got my pre-sentencing interview coming up this coming Monday, and then I have sentencing May 10th, where, you know, if all goes well, I don't know if you guys heard about the 1512 with the appellate court. The news on that, but they're saying that it is pretty much a ceremony, which is what my lawyer said. So, you know, maybe they drop it. And then that brings me down to the one unfortunate felony of 111 A and B. Instead of having a C with the intent to commit another felony.
Well, don't forget, the Supreme Court is hearing the 1512C on April 16th. So this thing that just happened is just the beginning of that, and hopefully the Supreme Court will weigh in it positively on April 16th, so that might be good for you.
I'm hoping so. I mean, either way, it's okay. Even if they don't, I'm mentally prepared for a devastation. Mentally strong. Nice.
Yeah, smart.
Hope for the best. Never rely on the government to make you happy. Yeah. That's definitely not their strong suit. I don't know if to say that. No. But they have made me happier with how they made me look at my life through a different set of eyes. Man. Through brick walls and metal doors. Yeah. And occasionally there's a slot in the door where they feed me like an animal.
Yeah.
Great. That is a depressing area. Well, when I start dancing around like a monkey in these hills, you'll know why. Yes, sir. Not just trying to keep our heads up, stay positive, surround ourselves with good people. Yeah. Looking forward to commissary next week. Yeah, it just came today, but I'm already looking forward to the next one. I like food.
So,
I really like food.
I guess commissary.
They don't let us order enough for my liking.
So if someone has a question about how commissary works, it's once a week you get to order, or how's that work?
Yeah, once a week we get to order, or we can only order like $125 worth of stuff that's between like hygiene and food. And then like you got people on the outside that can order through accesssecurepack.com, and then you put in the inmate number, and it's the DC jail or DC DOC. But so you can get extra stuff, but we inside can only get what we get in here, but they have different things between the two. So like Access Secure Pack has mac and cheese, Velveeta style, and then they have Velveeta style, no mac and cheese, just beans and rice and fish and like, but it's still good. Yeah. So basically, you put your order in on Friday night, and it goes out, and then you get it next Friday. Well, no, you put your order in Sunday night, and they clear it Monday, and then you get it Friday. Okay, yeah. So once a week, you get it in. So Friday's a big day, and SmackDown is on TV at 8 o'clock. Oh, yeah. If anybody's a big fan of wrestling, which I'm really not, but it's a big deal in here, so you got to support the people who love it. You got to support the WWE. Just when they nerd out, you got to nerd out with them. I'm down with it. Crazy. Yeah.
Hey, Tom.
We have some good news about
Go ahead.
Mac and Fellows yesterday. Oh yeah, Mac they were asking 151 months or something like that, and probation was asking for 84, the judge gave him 70. I mean, that's still a little much, but hey, at least it was under what they were asking in the guidelines. So, I mean, that is God working right there. That is pretty amazing.
That's positive.
And then Fellows
Yeah, tell me about Fellows.
got 37 months, which he's already served, and now he's just got to do his contempt, I believe the judge said, which was pushing on the back end of it. So, I mean, things are looking up for some of them, and then there's other ones where we get judges that they're just like, I think I'm just going to give you guidelines and say farewell to you. Appeal it. So, let's just hope more we're not going to be like they were with Mac and Fellows.
Yeah, I think you're right to expect the worst, but have hope because I do think that they're starting to realize this thing is a house of cards that's going to crumble one day. I got to hope that they'll see that.
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely tell that they're getting a little worried, trying to act a little better, and might see it coming out more and more. I try to think of them like the turkeys. You lead them to water, and hopefully they drink it. The turkeys we had were pretty stupid. So you had to make them eat and drink and just let them live.
I heard turkeys will drown if you leave them out in the rain. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
They haven't yet, but we put a roof over their heads because we thought they were pretty darn dumb. Like they knocked over the water just to drink it out of the dirt. That happens a lot. I'm telling you, we had a lot of chickens when I was growing up. Chickens are just as dumb. I'm telling you, they were some of the dumbest animals I've ever. You're like, it's a good thing you make good fried chicken, otherwise it would be worthless. I mean, good grief. Chickens, I mean, they are something else. Dumber though, like it is so sad to see them. Like you're like, how did you survive this long?
What about horses and cows? How do you rate them?
Oh yeah, no, I love steak. Man, we've good horses, got good cows, and I rate them at the very top.
Thank you for using Global Cal Link.
I love steak. I love cows.
We got our very own Diamond and Silk show going on.
We didn't even have a 1 minute warning there, but that was interesting.
They're having too much fun here.
I was going to ask him how's the fermentation process going.
So it was John and John, just in case you didn't know who that was.
That's like calling him John.
Was that? I'm lost track already. Is that number 3?
That's number 3. I thought he said John Pollock. What was
It's
his?
John Pollock and John Todd.
Todd.
So John and John.
Super Todd.
That's right here, John Pollock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not kidding.
But the Pollock that you talked about earlier was Ben.
Well, Ben's the father, Ben and Tina. So yeah.
Yeah, how about that? Well, this is John Pollock, so.
Well, that's what I wanted, my question was before, we mentioned about,
You want to speak in there?
Be useful.
I can turn it on. John Pollock and Olivia Pollock I didn't know if that was brother or sister or husband and wife that got arrested. So now the clarity of it's brother and sister. So when I write them, I could say brother and sister versus only wife, you know. That would be bad.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know. You know?
Yeah.
They look the same, you know, they look like they could be husband and wife.
Well, let me see if I can read a couple more of these recent arrests. Kim Eugene Decker, 42 years old, from Genesee, Pennsylvania. Anybody know Genesee beer? It's actually a river in New York, I think, but Genesee, Pennsylvania. Kim Decker was arrested on February 21st in Genesee. Civil disorder, entering, remaining, disorderly and disruptive conduct, violent entry and disorderly conduct, parading, demonstrating, picketing. That's it. Cleophas Dulaney, that's a cool name, Cleophas. Arrested February 23rd in Columbus, Ohio. Assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers. I go on, pretty much, that's it. Engaging in physical violence, perhaps 63 years old, perhaps they got him doing something. Kenneth Giussini, 67 years old, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, arrested February 22nd in Philadelphia. Entering and remaining, disorderly and disruptive conduct, parading, demonstrating, and so on. Andrew Joshua Johnson, 39 years old, Vero Beach. Andrew Johnson and his wife Whitney were arrested on February 22nd in Vero Beach. Civil disorder, entering, remaining, usual. Whitney Johnson, 44, Whitney and her husband. Andrew were arrested February 22nd. Civil disorder, assaulting, so on and so on. And then the last one on here was Thomas Paul Osborne of Lakeland, Florida, arrested February 22nd. Did you catch all the Floridas there? They must have had a little bit of a SWAT team going out to the Florida people and rounding them all up around the Lakeland area. They may or may not be related to the Pollock family, and like I said, there was a busload of them that came up. So.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press your current balance is $57.23. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hello.
It's the turkey and the chicken again. We're back. Some reason it cut off on us.
Yeah, we didn't get the 1 minute warning. I'm surprised.
It said, thank you for using Global Tel-Link. GTL, you are definitely they say they're like your government. They're very sneaky.
Oh, that's funny.
So, GTL is worse than Cricket or Boost Mobile. Yikes.
So, John, I got to meet your mom and dad a couple weeks back in D.C., so I just wanted to tell you that. They're
yes, sir.
great people.
Oh, man, that's good. You know, right on. They had a blast. They were telling me about it. Said they had a good time spending with y'all.
Yeah, it was really great to hear them and hear about how many of you all came together, how patriotic you all are. This was really wonderful.
Yeah, no, that is one sad thing. Is I had, I've met a lot of guys that their families, just basically abandoned them and disowned them because of this. And I'm like, man, that'd be tough. Because I've had a huge support. My family's backed me up since the beginning. I mean, they're right there. They've been right there with me. I had a few of them back me up, and then other ones were like, "You're just a piece of crap." And I was like, "Yeah, well, no, that's lush." Yeah, no, that's rough. But praise the Lord, I do have they've been good. They've been helping out any state they did.
So what's the one thing that people out here can do to help you guys out? Is it writing letters? Is it something that comes to mind?
I love letters. Personally, you know, but really, we have, you know, you got what do they call them? The not GoFundMe, but
Gifts and good.
Yeah.
whatever, Gifts and Goes, and then the letters, really,
Commentaries and stuff like
yeah.
just any little thing honestly helps and makes the world of difference.
Yeah, I think letters, sending books and things like that, it's always a special time when you get those.
Maybe a couple Bibles and hymnals.
Yeah. Now that is one thing. We've started trying to have Sunday services here. A little bit about this on Sunday, so we've been writing down copies of hymns and songs to sing. So I don't know if there's any way to get softback hymnals or songs in here, or just really, if you have letters, just write down music, just write down songs, and we can use them as, you know, song services. I mean, use them as songs for the church. So that's one thing.
Since we don't get many chaplains that come by, we decided, you know, get the brothers together and just start doing our own thing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, be creative, right? Do what you need to do. That's great,
Yeah.
though. That's people will respond to that. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And why wait for somebody else to do something when you have the capabilities of doing it, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's been good. Just get together and sharing what the Lord's doing, having a good time on Sunday, singing and praying.
And then resting from the gym.
Yeah, we're interesting from the gym. Too many games.
Hey, Taylor's wife does this.
Playing basketball.
Oh, go ahead. Basketball.
Yeah, plus we play basketball at the gym. So,
yeah.
you know, we go hard all day.
All day, man, all day. Because they give you an hour of rest.
Except on Mondays.
Sometimes every day, except for weekends. You know, but anyway.
Mondays it's like going to McDonald's late at night and asking for McFlurry. Sorry, it's out of service.
Sorry, no ice cream here. You know better than that.
Ain't gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys.
Going to
You're asking an awful lot.
crazy. You're crazy.
Hey,
This is BK. You can't have it your way.
Oh my God.
well, hey, whatever keeps you happy, man. Hey, I heard that Taylor's wife does a Sunday morning call-in show where people call in, and it's you know, a Sunday service kind of a show. Have you guys called into that yet?
Well, my buddy, we're codependents coming in. He's going to be on it this Sunday. So, I think he goes on at 10:30. 10:30, I think, yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah, we're trying to get on there eventually.
Yeah, good. Well, I think it's great you guys get to call out and have your voices heard, and that's all we're trying to do. So anything you want to tell the world, you know, it's up to you, but this is your moment.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, I sure do appreciate y'all. You know,
I'll tell you what, after sentencing, I will go all in depth about everything.
Oh,
then I unfortunately have to bide my time and bite my tongue a little, and you know, hold off on what I say.
No, that makes sense. Understood. Yeah.
But no, it's people like y'all that give us hope. You know, there's still people out there fighting for what's right.
It's even the people that are anti-protesters to the stuff that do it stuff. It's like, well, if you didn't have anti-protesters, you know you're not in the right. You know you're not at them. You're like, oh yeah, we struck a nerve. Yeah.
I love that.
Turn up the hornet's nest.
The Marine in me loves to push buttons.
I don't know how these guys keep their spirits up.
So how many are in there now? I keep losing track of it. Do you guys have a count?
I think 31 now. Because we had 29 and then 2 more came in. So I honestly think there's 31, but I could be off by a couple.
Yeah, about 31 of us.
Well, they continue to pick people up. They just got a bunch from Florida just this last week. I think we're over. Yeah.
Hank Munster will be coming into DC March 15th. He has a probation violation hearing, which is crazy because one of my buddies, he's basically like family. He was there, but he didn't, he didn't do anything. He was just standing there, peacefully protesting, and then he actually, when we got picked up, he actually went and said, "Do y'all want me? Are y'all going to come raid my house?" And they're like, "No, don't worry about it, man. You're good. We don't want you. We're not looking for you." And then I think a couple weeks ago, they just raided his house and threw him in jail. And now I guess he's being prosecuted for January 6th out of nowhere. And it's terrible. I guess, got a whole new list of people. And I told my boss who I went with, I was like, "Now, just so you know, after I'm charged, you need to be on the watch." Yeah. He goes, "Why?" He goes, "I just trespassed on the property." I said, "They're coming for you next." I said, "They're going to be like the Kool-Aid man and bust through that door and just be like, 'Oh yeah, we got you.'" Yeah. The old Kool-Aid man.
Well, they're getting everybody who went inside, it seems like, and then next it's whoever was standing on the grass will be next. But
And then after that, the people.
Well, I was definitely inside in the rotunda, so that's why they got me for sure. Yeah.
That's just
They were
crazy.
following me for a year and a half. And apparently they're like, "Oh, we don't know when you go to work, so we're just going to raise your house while nobody's there." Good job. I was like, there was a good job. You're so good. I would have just called. I would have told you could have opened the door. Yeah. Like, you didn't have to bust it off the hinges. No, man. It's like they say, escalate the situation as fast as possible. They shut down the whole street going into my neighborhood, and people are like, "Oh, we gotta go to work." They're like, "You can't leave because, we're looking for this man." I gotta let them know, like, I'm in a whole different city, but you come get me.
wow. Hey,
You got the.
I got a question. Here's a question for you.
Hey, John, this is Cheryl Johnson. Just wanted to see whether you received any books lately. I don't know if they got to you yet, Robin Williams and Puzzle Book and Curious Minds.
Yes, I did get that one today. And then there's a few of them that also got sent back that they said were unwanted, but I don't know what unwanted means. Like, they unwantedly didn't want to give them to me, or I didn't want them because I was never asked. So,
Okay.
yeah. But I did get those three, and then a David and Goliath one.
Oh, I didn't do that. Just Puzzle Book and Robin Williams and Curious Minds. I thought they were kind of interesting. But
I did get those today, and those were amazing. I'm super happy. I can't wait to read the Robin Williams.
okay, just want to make
Yeah,
sure
that's sweet.
something's
Awesome.
getting to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how long it takes for things to get there sometimes. It takes well over a week or sometimes two, maybe longer.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's what one guy, he said he had sent the book, and it had been here for like almost a month before they actually brought it up here. It was like, what in the world are they doing? At that rate, I'm already getting ready to go to a different area, man. Come on out.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister's like, I really don't want to send anything until you go to the penitentiary, just because, like, I know they're not going to let you bring anything with you, and, like, I don't want it to get there and then you not even see it. I was like, you know what? I said, if I don't get it, it's donated, so just send it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm not making money. I was like, no, you're not, but I will give it back. I promise.
Amazing people.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah. But,
So are you guys both from Florida? John, where are you from?
South Carolina.
I'm from, okay, I was arrested in Blue Springs, Missouri, but I moved to South Carolina with my sister. I really wish I would have been in Florida because there was a lot of places to just enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the scenery. Yes, sir, man. I'm from Florida, born and raised, never moved out because the land of the free, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of liberals in Missouri, so I'm not missing it. Not one bit. I go down to South Carolina and people are like, man, we love you. My sister told people all about me and they're like, hey, I'm so glad to meet the outlaw. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not really an outlaw. I guess I am now, but crazy.
Yeah. I think an outlaw's on the run, so you're not that, right?
No, he doesn't.
In my spirit. In my spirit, I was going to go on the run. In my spirit, I'm still free. I was very fearful of them trying to come after my wife and my son at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'll just turn myself in and be the, you can kiss my butt type of guy.
Yeah. You guys keep up.
Ask you some questions. Well, you need a lawyer.
Are they cellmates?
Yeah. What?
Is John and John cellmates?
Are you guys cellmates? Is a question we got here.
We're next to each other. We're right beside each other. Yeah. So we're not there, man.
How does that work? Do you guys get to pick, or you just get stuck with whoever you get stuck with?
It really depends. In this place, it's actually nice because they moved all the J6s into one pod, and so there's actually really for people that have their own cell. But like me and Joe, we actually come in together, and you know we've been buddies since the very beginning. I mean, we grew up together, and so we actually are cellmates. Just so we can hang out all the time. But everybody else basically gets their own cell. I was just drama Johnny and then because
You have 1 minute remaining.
he was just awesome person to meet when he first came in. So, but alrighty, I guess we're catch y'all on the next one. Shorty, thank y'all again for you have a gifts and go you want to send out? All right, I guess we got the gifts and goes out. Mine is the Pollock family at Gifts and Go, the Pollock family. But and then I just have my inmate number 388-351. My sister's just a busy nurse. Also taking care of a baby goat now that just pees and poops all over because the mom rejected her. So she's learning how to be a mama goat.
All right.
She went and bought a harness for us today.
What's his cell or his?
I got it. 388-351. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. God bless you.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Thank y'all. God bless y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for using Global.
They should be cellmates. I mean, they're probably joking.
They're probably doing just fine right where they're at, but I mean, my goodness, that was funny.
Well, see, this is how do you sit there and it's like the DNC show that Quaglin and Fox.
Well, yeah. What happened to Dominic?
Well,
We haven't heard from him for a while.
he's probably in transit. But how do they maintain decent spirits when it's been so hostile for them?
You know what? Those are amazing guys. They can maintain their spirits.
That's what I'm saying. They're amazing human beings.
But it's like
their spirits are up.
It's just like the Diamond and Silk show. It's like they're going after each other. They're running. What is it called?
Playing off of each
other.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Lisa, Kathy, CMD. I like your little image.
Are Diamond and Silk still on? I haven't seen it.
I believe Diamond died.
Yeah.
She passed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, about 6 months, a year ago. So I don't know. I can't keep track of time, but
Something like that. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. It was a sad day, but Silk is carrying on. She's still doing her thing.
Is that right?
It's just different now.
Well, the ahas and the ahas.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that in the background for yourself. That's right. Love those girls.
You were mentioning that to your daughter, I think, Diamond and Silk, and I said, "Huh? Who's that?"
Yeah.
I don't know if
Wrong
you're-
generation.
This is the new one that just came out. I just got it.
Yeah, I heard you.
Letters from prison and then this
But
one.
they were funny.
Huh?
They were funny.
It's absolutely
Down at,
amazing to me.
The
How
Freedom
their
Corner,
spirits
Mickey
are up
has
so
one of
high.
these, that everybody that comes out
That's
gets
just-
to sign it. So she's full of signatures from random, whoever was ever there. It's really cool. She does that.
You said his prison number is 388-351?
That's what I have, and Cheryl's got all of them. There. How many do you have in there?
I have all of DC and then.
30? You have 30 people?
Well, the two new ones, Zirkle and, what's the other one? I wrote it down.
Oh.
Edward,
too.
They got two new ones, Edward Richmond and Jacob Zirkle. And so, Jacob Zirkle, if he ever calls, he has pistachio farm. We need some pistachio.
So, I want to see.
And Edward Richmond, he's an electrician, so he gets along great with Chris Quagler.
Oh, they're both electricians, right? Right. So this is the NPR website again, but I find this photo interesting. I want to know who these people are. Like this lady holding the Trump flag, the one holding her arm up in the air, the guys over the. I mean, it almost looks like a stage photo. And if anybody saw Officer Dunn, who's running for Congress, maybe in Maryland, I think, they put on a completely fake rendition of the events in the Capitol. Completely fake. I wonder if this is a true photo or fake.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
White.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1.
Back it away a little bit from some of these.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
White.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is $55.52. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Tom, good evening.
Hey Doug, how are you tonight?
Good, how about yourself?
We're doing great. We're laughing still. We had John and John on a minute ago, and those guys are a mess talking about turkeys and chickens. But anyway, we're having fun tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hanging in there. Doing good as can be expected inside these walls here in D.C., right?
Yeah. So,
We're definitely making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, you guys are. I mean, I'm so happy that you're all together there and have one another to lean on and help each other out. So that's really big. That's a blessing.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of a lighter mood. It's not tonight. It's saying, like, there's been a couple breaks, and just the whole narrative that's been passed around. I feel like just it's been so unjust. It's been so unjust. I mean, nobody cares. It's like I feel like I'm being ruled over by kings and monarchs. It's like the guy told me, earlier in the week. He said, DC's become the new crown. The new crown. That's what they remind me of. Like it was, way back hundreds of years ago during our family. That's the thing.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, the new monarchy. How about that? That right? That just think they're above it all and they can do whatever they want. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, very condescending, and there's just been a couple breaks. They take it to 15-12 today.
That's moving in the right direction. The big thing is the footage getting released. You know, and I hope that's because of the pressure that's been put on our representatives by the public. You know, I hope that's why this is happening. I hope that the faces aren't blurred. There's a reason why they wanted to blur the faces, and I think you guys know why. You understand why. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, put it out there. It belongs to the American people, the American taxpayer. That's who's, you know, just absolutely been forgotten about in this country. So let's put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, I like it. So maybe there'll be a counter to the sedition hunters. It'll be, I can't think of the name of it, but it'll be the, you know what I mean? They'll be looking for the ones that did this against everyone.
And they need to be held liable. I mean, you know, I'm gonna do quick just to run down my story, because my story is a challenge to anybody that wants to get on Twitter. And again, this is Douglas Wyatt is my name. I'm inmate number 388263, and I can be found. You can find my story, not my story, but you can find the video on Twitter that they used to persecute me, to prosecute me. And, you know, my claim, and anybody can prove me wrong, please do, right, is that, you know, I was handed a sprayer. I was handed a sprayer by somebody in the crowd that was trained in how to use them. And you can see it in the video as the police line just disappears. There's no police line. You start walking away from all the gas and irritants that are in the air. You're completely disoriented, and this guy gets in front of me. He cuts me off. And I had an InfoWars hat on. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's why he got in front of me. I don't know. But just the same, he gets in front of me, he cuts me off. And before he does that, you can see him manipulating the boxes in the video. You know, he's manipulating. I don't know what he's doing with these boxes. I've never seen these boxes. I've never seen the sprayer. I've never committed assault on anybody in my life, okay? And this guy's just getting in front of me and trying to hand me one of these sprayers. He has one hung around his neck that he's trying to hand me that I'm so disoriented I don't see. But I do see the boxes on the ground. And I'm like, what is that? And I start to pick up this thing, and right there he is. Pull this safety pin. Pull this safety pin. I'll pull the trigger. So my question is, A, how does he know what's in the boxes to be manipulating them and hiding them and moving them around? B, how does he know where the safety features are at on this weapon? So, you know, he's been trained in how to use this thing. Someone has trained him in how to use this thing, this Capitol Police sprayer. Now, to be clear, man, I am regretful beyond belief that, you know, that I even was up that far. Shouldn't have been there. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trespassing. Yeah, well, you know, I just had trouble with that. I had trouble thinking that I'm trespassing because nobody ever said, hey, you're trespassing. You got to be over there in that lot, or over there in that lot. If somebody would have said that, I would have just gone to them lots. Nobody said that. So I'm thinking that I'm here where I responded. I'm here. I'm at the Stop the Steal rally. I RSVP'd this thing. I came to this rally. I know there's permits for it. I don't know I'm trespassing. And I have a pro tip. Here's a pro tip for anybody working security, okay? If there's a place that you're not supposed to be at, a bike rack is not the answer. Bike racks aren't the answer. 6 foot tall fencing with razor wire at the top. That's what you use for security. It's just unbelievable to me, okay? You know, and this is at a time that our democracy is fragile. I had to hear that so many times, but it's like, you know, meanwhile, back at home in Maryland, my churches are shut down, the schools are shut down, can't get to work. You know, I'm trapped in my home, the restaurants are shut down. You know, the state governments are shut down, and the governments of the state are changing laws by decree. Now, yeah, our republic is a fragile thing. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. That's not how you pass laws. If there's an emergency, and the government is running things, then they should get their behind to work. If you're a leader, okay, leaders don't say, there's an emergency, I'm not going to work. If you're a leader, okay, an elected leader, get your butt to the State House and run the government and do the people's work. They didn't do that. It's change the election laws. It's no problem. Whatever you think. So yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a whole other side of this thing, and it's just got to come out. I feel like there's just been a great injustice done. I feel like a political prisoner. I was given almost 4 years in prison for holding this thing for 12 seconds. That was given to me by what I believe to be an undercover. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm a big boy. I'll admit it. But just the same, whoever it was that did that to me should have done it to me. My question is, who is it? Who is it? Can anybody answer that,
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're a political prisoner. We got a banner on the wall that says the J6 detainees are America's very own political prisoners. And that's what we have up here, every one of these vigils. So you guys are exactly that, and we cannot let that stand.
Well, hopefully some things change, man. Hopefully, people start seeing that what happened to us was a great injustice. And, it should never happen again. This should never happen. It's not just me and my story, man. I mean, I've told this story on here before because it's happened to other people, too. I'm not the only one in here that has, there's just terrible stories like this. Our government shouldn't be putting people in that position. If they're going to tell you, hey, come to the Capitol, there's a rally, there should be proper security there. People talk about, when you talk about Trump and, offering the use of the National Guard, I'm not thinking the National Guard needs to be there with batons, beat people over the head. I'm thinking the National Guard could have just been like, hey, you got to trespass, you got to go over here, the rally's over there, you can't be on the spot. That's all it would have taken, some bullhorns, some direction. It was like they just didn't have enough people there. They didn't have enough people there. If this was any other event, like a Taylor Swift concert or a race or any type of event, and this kind of stuff ensued, well, the people who held the event would be held liable. The people who held the event would be liable, okay? So why aren't they being held liable? I'm being held liable, why is that? The government just gets away with just total, complete totalitarianism. That's what I think happened that day.
Yes.
Well, you brought up the 1512C thing, and that's a big deal. That's a little win, but it's in the right direction. But on April 16th is when 1512C goes in front of the Supreme Court, and I think that I have a lot of faith that they're going to kick that back, because that was completely misused from what it was originally intended, which was to prevent corporate fraud in accounting firms in the Enron scandal. So has no business being charged to any of you guys. And I think that tells a story that they're just grasping at straws to make an example out of y'all, which is exactly what they've done.
And let's not forget that, by the time January 6th rolled around, I had seen 5 years of just horrible destruction to many communities. I was in Baltimore for the Freddie Gray riots. You have the stuff that happened in January of 2017. That was chaos down here. There's been a lot of chaos here in D.C. When they burnt down the church and the president had to get evacuated from the bunker, Ferguson, Missouri, Minneapolis. Just go on Portland, Oregon. There's all these, New York City, there was all these horrible riots with lots of destruction, lots of vandalism. And I remember looking at January 6th thinking, this is crazy, but it just doesn't compare to the other riots that I've seen. And I was thinking, well, I guess that this is just what rioting or protests have turned to in America. You're not thinking that you're breaking the law. At any point, I never thought I was breaking the law. I thought I was operating within the bounds of the law. I was trying to stay away from the police, So, and then you think about, the residents in D.C., if they're going to get 4 years in prison, they have to have a history of doing crimes, okay? It's like the most lenient court for the most violent of crimes the nation. But you show up to a protest in favor of Donald Trump, man, and they're going to wear you out about it. And that's what's been happening here. It's just not right. Americans need to wake up. This can't happen to us or other Americans. It's just not right. This is not equal justice.
Yeah, here, brother. I agree. Yep.
So, anyway, thanks for letting me get on my squawk box, man. I appreciate it. And I'm always worried, you know what I mean, when I speak out like that, but it's like, not saying nothing didn't do me any good either. Not saying nothing did me absolutely nothing. I never really got a chance to say how I felt, so I'm kind of speaking up now behind bars. I miss my family so much, man. I miss my daughter, and, I read this little letter she sent me every day, and, I'm going to close out with this, my lovely 17-year-old daughter. I love her so much. I mean, she's the youngest of four, and my stepson, he's in prison. I was there with him as well. He got 40 months. He has a newborn son. It'll be a year next month that he's been in prison. So my family's suffering, man. So I just want to go ahead and read this little letter she sent to me. Here it is. I love you so much, Dad. I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but it's so hard when you're not here. I miss watching movies with you. I miss our Saturday morning breakfast. I miss laughing with you and listening to your stories. I truly cannot stand that you're not here to tuck me in at night. God, I hope that love conquers all, because right now it's all I have. I love you, Dad. That's from my daughter. I just miss her to death. I just miss my family to death. I miss my wife to death. And, yeah, man, we're really struggling, just like a lot of people.
You have 1 minute remaining.
We're really struggling. This is just an absolute injustice, and I really wish our representatives would move a little faster, man. This is not right. Don't be scared of this topic. You have to drag it out into the light and expose all this stuff so it doesn't happen again. And hopefully one day we'll get some justice, man. Hopefully Donald Trump gets in next year and pardons these guys. Just puts an end to this persecution.
You'll get your justice, and we'll be praying for you in the meantime, and your family too. So thank you so much.
Hey, man, thank you so much, and thanks for having me. God bless.
What was his name?
Doug Wyatt.
Douglas Wyatt, W-Y-A-T-T.
Yeah, his number is on that paper.
He read his daughter's letter the last couple of times, or at least last time, and then I think...
Couldn't make it through at that time.
Yeah, that's right. He had to have somebody else read it for him. I did not know his stepson was in prison too for this. I wasn't going to ask him the name on the air, but that would be interesting to find out. I don't know who it is.
He's not in D.C., is he?
He didn't say where he is.
I think he mentioned him last time.
Did he?
Too. Yes, and I don't think it's a J6 or.
Oh, really?
I think it was something else, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
We've bumped into a couple of those.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting close to
It's almost time.
Yeah.
5 minutes, yeah.
Gonna record another version.
Yeah, if I could
So are you coming too,
get his
Scott?
name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here. I got work engagement out of town, so Jason's going to run the show.
Okay. Okay. And I hope Tom Wishler sent an email or a text this evening reminding him.
Yeah.
Because Wednesday, after he missed it last time, he said, "Oh, I forgot, man." It's sitting on my-" So I said, "I'll text him."
Have you been to the Westmoreland board lately?
Yeah, maybe,
There's a lot of changes going on up there, right?
That's what Larry was telling me, yeah.
It says, I knew we were going to talk about that last time.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They are, they took away all the perks, the meals and lunches.
That's for our monthly meeting.
I'm trying to come because I want to.
Their official stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get my husband to come.
Yeah, and I was there when Daryl
We really
Fisher
wanna
stepped
start
down,
with,
or got voted out in the January meeting, the organizational
He
meeting.
says he
In
doesn't
a way,
like,
it was kind of
he doesn't
sad,
get
'cause,
involved like I
I
do.
mean, I'm sure he's very proud of that position,
Yeah.
being there for all those
He
years.
likes being there.
But he was very gracious about it. He actually
I'm hoping he'll
voted
come there
for,
because Bob really wants,
Junior, who's the new guy.
he really needs to like start something
And
here.
my friend asked me.
So I was actually thinking,
Since we don't have a group
Win
started.
anyway, you could either vote against the new guy.
I should've-
or
I just got
go ahead
cards.
and vote for him.
last night.
So,
So there is a small group, myself and two ladies working issues in Northumberland County. And it works really well with just three of us. We're actually moving mountains.
That's great.
It's amazing. So I was thinking about putting together, you know, a framework of how that happens.
Yeah.
How to start it, how to get it, how to keep it.
Hello, this is a free call from
Jacob,
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse it. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
hello.
hey there, this is Northern Neck.
Hey, is this Tom?
This is Tom, yep.
Hey, Tom, Matt Crow here, and I got Jacob Zerfel with me. Jacob's one of the newer guys. He just came in a couple of days ago.
All right, Matt and Jacob, welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes before the anthem starts, so I'm gonna let you all sing along with us here in a few minutes. I spent a little bit of time, about 6 days down at Northern Neck before they took me to Central Virginia Regional Jail. I was down there for 1 year exactly, March 17th to March 17th, and then they brought me up here to DC Gulag. So coming up here in about a couple weeks here, I'll be here for a year. I just passed my milestone of 2 years incarcerated. While I was down at Northern Neck, I had a flat line down there. My heart stopped, and I literally died, and came back to life. And then 2 days later, I got a pacemaker in me. So I'm the J6er that died and lived to tell about it.
And that was that was in Northern Neck Regional Jail that happened?
No, that happened at Central Virginia Regional Jail.
Okay.
Yeah. It was about a little over, probably about 5 weeks after I left Northern Neck.
Okay.
I don't think Northern Neck could handle my medical condition, so they shipped me off to Central Virginia.
Okay.
We got 1 minute before the anthem, and then we'll come right back with you guys and finish up the call with you guys.
All right.
I've been sentenced. It's 11 weeks yesterday that I was sentenced, and I'm still waiting. But because of my heart condition, I think I might be here for a little while yet. They got to be peculiar how they move me, and I'm hoping they send me up to Michigan, where I'm from. I ran for sheriff up in Michigan. Flint, Michigan is my county seat, which is the Great Water Crisis place. And I ran as constitutional sheriff up there. I'm just trying to fill you guys in real quick. Here we go.
great. Never gets
So
old.
if any of you got any, right on. If any of you got any quick questions for Matt, I'll answer one or two and then hand it over to Jake and let him tell you his story.
So Matt, you said you ran for sheriff. What are you, law enforcement for your career? What's up?
No, sir. I love both laws. I love the law of the scriptures, and I love the Constitution. And because of the water crisis, it gave me reason, after being very involved with passing out water up there, of hearing all the sad stories from prior inmates up there, and it was time. God spoke to me, and I ran for sheriff. I didn't win. I ran against 17-year incumbent, but I got 40% of the vote, being prior militia. And when I was a young adult, I was 21 years old, I got busted for 3 pounds of marijuana, and spent a couple months in lockup then.
Well, I tell you what, God bless you for running for office and standing up and doing something when you saw that it needed to be done. And I think that more people got to do that. I'm impressed with how around here there's so many people running for school boards and other supervisors and other things, because we have to get involved locally if we're going to take this nation back.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph, Tom, is for good men to do nothing. And not on my watch, man, not on my watch.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, we are all with you there, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, how about you? It's been a little bit since we talked, I think, right? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been a construction worker a lot of my life. I've done large fires for a portion of my life. It's pretty much all the different trades I've done. And then, of course, I got tired of always breaking my back. So I tried to find a different profession decided to try farming, but I don't know if it's any easier, but that's what I did. Just a hard-working person, never really getting ahead. It's the nature of life,
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, that leaves you with a lot of skills that most people don't have, and I've been in construction my whole life, so I appreciate what you're talking about there. And there's so much to still learn,
Yeah, and it's an honest living. You work with your hands, it's an honest living. You're not taking from someone, you're giving, and you're being paid for it's a really good skill, really good things.
Yeah. Now, where are you from, Jacob?
Well, I'm from all over. Our family moved around a lot when I was younger, but I guess I would call Arizona my home. I was born in Bowie, Arizona, and that's where I reside. So I've moved 15 miles since my birth. So I guess that's something.
Yeah,
I would consider Arizona my home for sure.
Yeah. My family spent a lot of time traveling out there. I had family that lived out there, but I honestly have not been. So it's definitely on my bucket list. It's a beautiful state.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Up north, it's nice. Nice in the summertime, and down south, it's beautiful in the wintertime. You still got to travel 10 miles and damn both.
Yeah. It's so different from where we are here. We're out, in the northern neck is just 2 hours south of where you are now. We get a little bit of winter, we get a little bit of summer, or plenty of summer, but it's nice because we got the water and the mountains and everything else here in one place. So it's kind of cool.
Are you is that Virginia or?
Yeah, we're in Virginia, so right on along the Potomac River, where it goes into the Chesapeake Bay, is the northern neck. Several counties make that up, and yeah, we're in a really
I was actually stationed in, our ship my Navy ship that I was on was attached to Norfolk shipyard for 3 or 4 months. So I actually kind of familiar with the area, at least down. I guess that's when it's more Well, it's probably not in the same area, but
Yeah,
fairly close within a couple.
yeah. A lot more populated down there, and obviously DC and Richmond and so on. So we're kind of far enough away from all that it's still rural character out here.
Right. So lots of good stuff happening in the news today for J6 stuff, hey?
Yes, we think so. Yeah, are you referring to the 1512C with Larry Brock, the judge, the Court of Appeals, turning that over?
Yeah, that and a couple days ago that Tucker Carlson announced that that they have 100% proof that the election was stolen. Gives us good reason why we went there, right? We all know it was stolen, but the judges and prosecutors have denied it and told us not to even talk about that, and they told us not to even talk about being a political prisoner. But yet, here we are.
Right. No, I haven't seen the Tucker Carlson one yet, but man, that guy has just been knocking it out of the park with all of his interviews of late, hasn't he? He really has.
Yes, he has. So I don't know if you recall, a couple weeks ago, he had made a comment, might have been 3 weeks ago now, where he had some information that he was coming out with that was unbelievably good stuff, but he had to wait to bring it out. And I'm thinking that's what he was referring to, is what he came out with yesterday. Now, one of the guys in here was listening to the radio today up here, and somebody's stepping in for Vince Colondaise, and they said that they heard that Tucker's attorneys were already contacted by the DOJ and told to be very careful of the information that he was going to put out there, or that they would arrest him, which doesn't surprise me in the least.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. That would be unprecedented completely. So, yeah, I think that there's some good things happening on the Trump front here too.
I think so too, Tom.
Yeah. Well, that 1512C is the one I've been talking about all night, because on April 16th that goes to the Supreme Court. So I think the Court of Appeals turning that over is a good first step, but I think the Supreme Court's going to look at it and go, there's no possible way you could have put that Enron era, law against the January 6ers. It's completely fabricated.
In the context of application.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and Trump's looking good. A lot of Americans would like to see him get back in there, and if they can prove that this election was stolen and set him in there even a couple months before the actual next election, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but I hear the Russians are trying to come after us again, so watch out.
Yeah, right. The Russians and the Chinese.
I think
one of the guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we just need paper ballots. I'd love it to get back to paper ballots and be done with it.
Same day.
That's right. One of the guys said he seen on Script News here last night where Christopher Wray was being interviewed, and he made the comment that with China having the AI, that they're able to steal the election from Donald Trump again, and that was his word, again. So he basically just admitted that the election was stolen.
That's interesting that he would slip up like that, isn't it? I mean,
I know, it is. Was that Freudian? Yeah. Or was it purposely,
Right.
Like, do they know that the true information is coming out? So they're starting to slowly help bring it out, and then now also, with what happened with the Blaze TV and that reporter getting arrested this morning.
You have 1 minute remaining.
yeah, well, that's,
They're going to release the 5,000 hours a week until all 40,000 are released in the next 8 weeks.
right. So that's Steve Baker from The Blaze. He didn't work for The Blaze when he was there on January 6th. He's got a very interesting story. Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Northern Neck. Love you guys. God bless you. And, man, keep up the good work. You guys are our heroes out there.
God bless you
God
too.
bless you too, and have a good night. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Love you all.
All right, good night.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, nice way to round that off. So Jake, that was Jacob Theris, is that how you pronounce it? That would be the first time we spoke to him, I was mistaken there.
Jacob Zirkle.
Zirkle?
Yep.
What did you write here?
I wrote down
Chicken scratch.
that,
Theris 25, what did you write?
that's his stepson's,
Well, what's Jacob's last name?
Zirkle.
That's what I was hoping you were gonna write down.
Zirkle, Z-E-R-K-L-E.
And Doug Wyatt's stepson's name is Jacob Theris, who is 25 years old.
We got a couple of Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
So Douglas Wyatt's stepson is,
Oh, that's the son that he said is in prison too?
yes,
Yeah.
Jacob,
Jacob.
T-H-E-R-R-E-S.
Okay.
It's a
Is
stepson.
that a stepson? That's a stepson.
All right, so,
Yeah, just look
got
it
it,
up.
thank you, Cheryl.
I gotta
All right,
look it up.
everybody, thank you for tuning in, as always, and please spread this out to everyone you can. Get the word out for these men, they deserve it, and it's all we can do for them at this point, and continue to pray for them. All right, good night, God bless everybody.
Good night.
I think
Good night.
perhaps maybe one time when we encourage